Podcasting from the Gowanus section in Brooklyn, New York. This is the Brooklyn Baritone Podcast. Hey everyone, thank you very much for joining me. As usual, it's the morning when I'm recording these productions and podcasts, but whenever you choose to listen to these, morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, late at night, I always appreciate the likes, the looks, the listens, and of course I'll appreciate you hitting that subscribe notification bell on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. Do that if you want to, no pressure, even though I would like the algorithm to swing in my favor. We're missing a lot of humility today. Just jumping straight into it. There's a lot of beautiful people out there that'll give you the shirt off their back. And on the other side of the spectrum, there are people who basically just want to do what they want to do and suffer no consequences for it. This recent story that I actually came across about 3 youths around my skin complexion went to go meet up with a lady who was selling French bulldogs. These dogs cost some money, and they are actually in high demand. I actually think not that long ago that somebody tried to dog nap one of Lady Gaga's dogs, just to give some reference of how much people are looking at these dogs and how much people hold these dogs in a certain breed in high regard. So basically they went there and tried to rob this lady. Well, they actually did. They actually stole 2 of the dogs. It turned out into a shootout. Basically went there, of course, with ill intentions to rob. They went there. Apparently, the deal went south, or they planned it to go south. Grabbed the lady who was actually selling the dogs, held a gun to her head and tried and drag her outside. But she was able to get free, thankfully, and she had a firearm of her own. Now, in the video, she is shooting, kind of wild, but I totally understand. Adrenaline pumping and everything, and yes, she could have hurt and damaged other people's property, but the fact remains that she wouldn't have to be put in that position if these individuals didn't decide to do so. Now, they stole 2 dogs, and of course they fired back at her. No one was hurt. And the thing is, one of the teens I saw, were apprehended, and they were waiting trial. And then the mother of one of those teens, of course, you want to support your family, but at the same time, you have to be careful who you support, how you support them. One of the teens, of course, was saying, he's such a good boy. He has good grades. He's never been in trouble before. At the same time, I digress with that, man, because this is a clear-cut example of what unfortunately represents our America. Unfortunately, this is what some people see as a representation of someone like me. Because it's one thing if you do something, and you do something criminal nature, do something to harm someone. I get it, you want to do what you want to do. But then when you're caught, because the whole idea is you're going to do these things and not get caught and do what you want to do, and then plan whatever it is type of mayhem that you want to plan. Your boy robbed someone, stole property, okay? I'm pretty sure the firearms are illegal. Then the illegal discharge of firearms. And I don't know who grabbed her, tried to pull her outside. That's kidnapping right there. There are all these charges right here, and all this seems premeditated. Maybe your boy was a good boy, but look at the crowd that he's around. And I'm pretty sure that's probably not the first bit of mischief that they got into, to be so bold and brazen to do something like that, to actually enter someone's home and then steal and then try to kill them. That's attempted murder right there on top of that. You have to let this boy deal with his consequences. And unfortunately, we live in a world where we don't want to deal with our consequences. It's a hard pill to swallow. Now, I could understand if it was a mishap. You do have still to deal with the consequences, and a lot of people would have consciences out there that'll eat them right up if they did anything that harmed someone else or anything that they know that they did to actually cause damage in any way, shape, or form. But then we have people who deliberately go out there to exercise crimes against others. So much charges in this one incident right here. It's crazy, and it's crazy to think that someone's going to actually protect someone like that. How is anyone supposed to get better? My question is, too, myself, of course, I already know the answer. I asked myself this question and answered at the same time, but I present it to you. Where's all the black leaders that's coming out? The same ones that come out, that come out and march and protest about police brutality against people of color. It does happen. What about the people who, like the Jesse Jacksons or the Al Sharptons? These are the same peoples that need to come out and exact discipline. One of the biggest problems in communities of color is that we got this stop snitching thing. Ain't the first time I'm talking about it. So we are having criminals, murderers, rapists, muggers, all types of things, thieves. We're protecting them, keeping them running free. No one is correcting them. No one pulling them to the side. No one's saying, you know what, don't bring the police over here. We gonna deal with them. There's some points in time and history in this country where there were black communities that actually did that. They didn't want outside interference. We got this. And there was a time when people used to discipline other people's children in the neighborhood because it was just like that. It was that community. It was that village. It takes a village to raise a child. We're not about that no more. We're all about dolo. We're all about looking out for your own self. And unfortunately, we're not humble enough to see that we made mistakes. We got to correct it. We have to acknowledge it and we have to correct it. That's all what humility is repenting. Repenting is not just a term used for God and in the Bible. Repenting is like you actually did something. You recognize you did something wrong and harmful. Now you have the wherewithal. You have the conscience inside of you to correct it, to not do that again, to hopefully repair the damage that you've done. We need to really step up. It all starts individually. And you really, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you could only control yourself. You could only control what you say and what you do. And if whatever you did and said harmed anything or caused problems, then you know what, look to correct it. But we have to recognize it for what it is. We can't just keep, doing what we want to do and expect life to be good. We can't expect life to be great if we're not holding ourselves accountable and other people accountable properly. Not going out to cancel anyone because your feelings are hurt. This is not what I'm saying. I'm talking about things that and most people know in their heart when they did something wrong and said something wrong. That pride continues to drag us down and drag individuals down. Let's be humble. Admit when you did wrong and actually look to correct it. It's not that hard. Well, that's all I wanted to talk about today. If you want to check out any more of my content you could check my website. That's right, my website at www.brooklynbaritone.com. You could also catch more of my content on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. You could also find me on LinkedIn under Corey Ashley. I'm also on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. You can find the audio versions of these podcasts on Google Podcasts, Apple, iTunes Podcast, and Amazon Music under Podcasts. I also broadcast on local Brooklyn cable television 4 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. on RCN, Verizon, Optimum, and Spectrum. Thank you guys for listening. I want you guys to be good, be blessed, be humble. Anyways, do hear from me next week. Walk good. Take care. I'm out.